Hello and welcome to the Ojo Show, where we talk strategy, tips and honest advice on how to play the most popular casino games. I'm Dan Grant and I've been playing casino games and working in the industry for 20 years, so I've been on both sides of the table. In this podcast series, I want to share everything I've learned to get you a fairer deal, the lowest house edge possible, and hopefully some better results too. In the last few episodes, I've talked about how to play blackjack once you're at the table. And knowing the rules and strategy are important because they can affect your results. But there are other skills in blackjack too, and choosing the right table is an important one. In this episode, I'm going to show you what makes the perfect blackjack table, why some games are different to others, and how understanding the motivation for why you play helps you choose the right table. So why do you play blackjack? Some players care about winning money, some of us are just there to have fun. If it's the winning you're most interested in, then finding tables with the best rules and the lowest house edge has got to be your priority. But it's also important to find the conditions where you can play your A game too. If it's fun you're after, then you can probably go ahead and ignore the rules and just head to the busiest table with the best crowd. The process of choosing a blackjack table is different depending on whether you're playing live in a real casino or whether you're playing online. And when it comes to sheer number of games and the consequences of your choice of table, nothing compares to online blackjack. The most obvious benefit of playing blackjack online is choice. There are hundreds of tables and they're open 24/7. And with so many games, how do you actually choose the right table for you? Well, stakes is a good place to start. Are you playing for fun or are you playing for real money? Practice tables are a great place to give your strategy a dry run or just make some funky moves that you might not try for real. If you want to play for real money, you might as well pick a table that fits your budget. Let's say you've got £100 to play with, you should probably be betting somewhere between £2 or £5 or at most £10 a hand, maybe less. The big decision these days is not so much stake as whether you want to play classic blackjack or live blackjack. Classic blackjack is my name for the original kind of internet blackjack where you play against the computer and the cards are generated by a random number generator. Live blackjack tables are live streamed from a studio, and it's as if you're playing in a real casino, but you're making your decisions on your phone or your computer. Some players prefer classic blackjack because it's faster, the stakes are usually lower, and you get your own private table. These days, most players seem to prefer live blackjack because it's a bit more interesting, it might be a more authentic experience, and some players feel a bit more reassured by the fact that it's a human dealer dealing the cards. There are plenty of other features to consider when you're choosing an online blackjack table, like dealer language, or if you like particular sets of rules. Maybe you like American blackjack where the dealer peaks if they've got an ace. Maybe you like the surrender rule, or maybe you prefer single deck games or a new variant like blackjack switch with extra features. So it's really up to you to decide what you're after in a game. I have left the most important factor till last, and that is choosing a blackjack table with the lowest house edge. Now, the house edge for blackjack is usually less than 1%, but it does change depending on the rules of the game. Some games may seem almost identical, but because of a tiny difference in rules, such as when you're allowed to double or when you're allowed to split, the house edge can range from 0.5% right up to almost 1%. All things being equal, you might as well go ahead and pick the table with the lowest house edge. It's not going to make a great difference in the short term, but over thousands or maybe tens of thousands of hands, you should get a little bit more money back. But how do you know what the house edge is at an online blackjack table? Well, by law, every casino now has to display the house edge in the game rules, and they usually call it return to player or RTP. A game with a house edge of 1% is going to have a return to player of 99%. So keep looking around for games with the highest RTP you can find. It's actually pretty easy to find a table that suits you online because there are so many of them and all of the details are usually one click away. But what do you do when you're in a real casino? So when you walk into a brick and mortar casino, you won't have as many blackjack tables to choose from, and chances are they'll all have the same rules and therefore the house edge. If you're in a huge casino or somewhere like Vegas, you might have a choice of rules, in which case go for American blackjack over European blackjack because it's likely to have a lower house edge. You might want to go for as fewer decks as possible, or you might want to look for the least restrictive set of rules. And by that, I mean that you should be able to double on any two cards or double after splits or resplit up to 3 times. Any restriction in rules is likely to mean an increase in your house edge, and you're going to get less money back over the long run. Now, tables in a live casino are going to have different stakes, so that's another factor to consider. Usually at the lower stakes end, they're going to be busy. You're going to have to wait for a seat. Speed of play is another interesting factor. Now, do you want to play at a busy table that's full of slow players or people that might be distracted, where you might only get 20 or 30 hands an hour? Or would you prefer an empty table where it's just you and the dealer and you're going to rattle through, maybe even up to 60 or 70 or 100 hands per hour? That's going to have an impact on how much money you need to ride out the kind of natural variance. That's the ups and downs of the game. The slower the game, the fewer the hands you're going to play. And so you won't be staking as much over your session. If it's just you and the dealer, it's a much quicker game. You're going to be getting through a lot of hands and you're going to need a bigger bankroll to play with. If your motivation for playing blackjack is actually just to have fun, then you might want to visit the casino at peak times, because even though you might have to wait for a seat, you're going to enjoy more of a party atmosphere at the table. If you're a lone wolf who likes a bit more of a calm vibe at the table, then, maybe it's wise to stick to daytime sessions or turn up on weeknights when the tables are going to be a little bit quieter. So there you have it. That is how to choose the perfect blackjack table for you. Lots of things to think about. Whether you're playing online, whether you're playing live, or whether you want to get through lots of hands quickly, or whether you want to play at a slower pace. Do you care about the money or do you care about the social? Lots of decisions. Some of them have quite a big impact on your experience. So next time you're playing online or in a real casino, have a little look around at the different tables, see if you can spot the differences from one to the next and which ones might be better for you. If you want to see how what I've said works in practice, head to playojo.com/blackjack. You'll find hundreds of tables there, lots of different variants, lots of different RTPs. Try and be as picky as you can, find the best table for you. That's all for now. Thanks for listening. As ever, play safe, play well, and I'll see you next time.